I was actually invited by Dierks to go sing some background vocals on the Scorpions album Blackout because I had a high voice and Klaus had some vocal issues. So I just did some very grunt work, harmony stacking. And the woman that was managing Excerpt at the time was in there recording also, Gaby Hoffmann, and she took my demo to Carrera and I got a record deal.
Oh,
she came
incredible.
back and gave me a plane ticket. So.
Wow. Yeah, Gaby, she wrote all the lyrics to those great Excerpt records.
Yeah, so Gaby got me the deal, so I have to give her a lot of kudos, because without her, I wouldn't probably be talking to you right now. So Gaby got me the deal, and the problem was it was me and a band. So, and I remember I came back to LA, and I knew George and Jeff from the band The Boys, and, I was looking to get a drummer. And that kind of really pushed me along to take George too. And I said, oh, okay, because I was the lead guitar player at the time. So I said, all right. So we went back we rehearsed in LA, I auditioned him. We all flew back to Germany with another bass player who didn't work out. I sent him home. And Peter Baltus ended up playing the bass tracks on the whole record on Breaking the Chains.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Peter played the bass tracks.
And so that's not Juan?
No, it Juan's on the album, but something happened. I can't really go into that. He just couldn't get on his flight. We missed it, and his passport went MIA. And I said, look, we only have a certain amount of time in the studio. I can't wait. So Peter cut the bass. And we came back, and, then the album came out as Don Dokken, Breaking the Chains. George went back, Mick went back. Everybody went their separate ways. And I just tried to, keep going. And then I finally, the album did really well in Germany, and then Cliff Bernstein from Q Pie had seen the album on an import and bought it, liked it, called me, said he wanted to manage me, and the rest is history, And then, they wanted to remix the album. And, then after Scorpions, I said, well, Dieter did me a solid, so I'll cut my album in Dierks Studios. So Michael and I drove in his car back to Cologne, a little town called Stammland, and Michael did the album. And so we did Breaking the Chains together. And I came back to America, and then I said to Michael, I think you'd have better luck in America because you're really a good engineer and you're smart. You know what you're doing on a console. He had really good ears. He's a musician. And so Michael came to America and slept on my couch for a while.
Last time we talked, I told you I was just like watching some old school Dokken videos while I was putting together the interview, and I came across that one where you guys were playing, it looked like for a TV show, and Juan was on bass, and you were just ripping a killer guitar solo.
You got lucky. The Beat Club, everybody from AC/DC to Queen to Deep Purple played the beat. That was kind of like the German version of MTV. And it was a live concert series, and how that record company pulled off us having our own 1 hour concert, and nobody ever heard of us. So George and Juan and Mick, we went back to Germany, did the TV show, did a tour there, hit the clubs, freezing our ass off in the winter. And it was rough. It was cold. And we pulled it off, spent Christmas there. We couldn't even go home for Christmas. And we all slept in hostels. And, we started out like everybody at the bottom. Came back to America. George left the band. Juan left the band, joined Ratt. So it was down to Mick and I. Signed my deal with Elektra. And then I got Warren DeMartini in the band for a short time. And George said, I want to come back in the band. And so that's, the rest is history.
That's incredible. Yeah, there's an old school picture with you and Warren and Mick holding the Don Dokken solo record.
Right. Warren was in the band, and that's what it's going to be. But, somehow, Ratt started to take off. So Juan and Warren decided to go stay with Ratt.
Which is kind of cool because I always considered those two, out of all the guitar players, there's not many that I compare, but I always compared, or at least when I was a kid, I thought of Warren and George as kind of the same in some way.
Yeah, Warren's a shredder, and I think he picked up a lot of shots from George.
And so when you're taking George in, I'm assuming you guys don't even get along at that point, but you're just taking him in basically because of how badass he is?
He was a great guitar player. I knew that. We didn't get along. I knew that. He's alpha, I'm alpha. So it was kind of like trouble from day one, but, we just kind of kept chugging along. Actually, Breaking the Chains didn't sell that well. It only sold 100,000 copies. That album didn't go gold for like 4 years until like on Rock and Key was like almost double platinum.
So it did go gold, huh?
Yeah, it went gold. Because once the people were buying Tooth and Nail and Rock and Key and Back to the Attack, our fans were like wanting all our stuff. So they went back and started buying Breaking the Chains.
Do you have any memory of writing Breaking the Chains?
Yeah, I just remember we were put into the little tiny studio down like in a cellar. It was called like the C room, the tiny little room. We were crammed in there, just Michael and I. And the record was about half done, and George and Mick left and went home. And I was like, oh shit, now what am I going to do? I got to finish the record by myself. So I did. Finished up the guitars and a couple solos. And Michael and I and Peter cut the bass in like one day. And Michael and I just sat there by ourselves and mixed it. Crazy times. I really can't talk about all the debauchery and all that. Me and Michael used to drink Southern Comfort. I think I used to drink rum and cokes. And we'd go out, and bring girls back to the studio and have fun.